if you have not been online, there was a report from Ledger. There was a large scale supply chain attack on all chains. The malicious code can swap crypto addresses to steal your funds. Hardware wallet users are safe. You do need to verify all transactions. Others, like us, DeFi users, not were asked to pause transactions. Phantom Wallet and Jupiter have put out statements saying they are unaffected. Best thing to do is just take a break for a couple of days until this blows over. But we're going to wait for more news to come out. Let's get back to today's video. Look, I've watched so many people get completely wiped out during cycle tops, not because they're reckless. It was because they were too late. Those people become bag holders. Right now, the market is giving us one final opportunity, and it's wrapped in so much deception because Bitcoin is looking strong, ETH has been pumping, but under the surface, things are starting to shift. This is what the beginning of the end looks like. So, in this video, I'm going to show you what's happening under the hood of Bitcoin and the crypto markets chart by chart. And I'm going to walk you through how I am positioning to protect my capital and make my moves count. Oh, and remember, if you're tired of expensive DeFi mistakes and crypto problems, I get it. I've made almost all of them. And that's why I built Dad's DeFi Space, where crypto strategy actually makes sense. Start with our free crypto and DeFi crash course, or hop into our free Telegram group. Links in the description. And remember, none of this today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Now, let's get to some charts today. If you take a look at our first chart, Bitcoin is holding just under the death cross, the 50, the 100, the 200 week moving averages. So Bitcoin is holding just above the bull market support band. That's right above the 21 week EMA, which is right around 109.5K, 105.2K. If you take a look around October 31st, we bounced off of the bull market support band. And since then, Bitcoin has looked strong above the 100 EMA. As you can see, the volume has been tapering off and getting a little bit on the lower side. Some of this could be classic pre-dump behavior. I do think we're still going to get more of a September correction. I know that many out there are bullish today. Markets look good. My ETH position's looking awesome. My Aether position is up 65% or was up 65%. But I believe that Bitcoin is going to have a seasonal correction that we have spoke about a lot on the channel, on our X, and in our free Telegram group. Now, I could still see Bitcoin spiking all the way up to this 117.3 region. But first, we have to get back above 113.5 to even begin talking about 117.3. The thing is, we are already in a Bitcoin long, and that has been printing. And another trade, if you want to check out our free Telegram group, and if you want to support our work, use our links in the description for Blowfin and Weeks, non-KYC exchange for trading perpetuals, and come over and follow all my moves and get early access to my DeFi tutorials and our free Telegram group. Enough about Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at the Ethereum chart. Ethereum has shown so much strength over the last few weeks. But right now, if you zoom in on the chart, you can see that Ethereum is playing right into a trap. We're stuck around 42.95 and struggling at the $4,370 resistance right here. If you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see it even better. That doesn't mean in the short term, ETH couldn't have a pump. ETH could have that one final pump trying to carry it to 4,800 or even 4,900 way up here. Although we do have to break past 4,500 first. If that happens, altcoins are going to catch fire, no doubt. But this cannot hold unless Bitcoin breaks its range with volume. I'm actually watching it closely because this could be our last exit pump before ETH gets slammed back into Bitcoin. And that doesn't mean that I believe this is the end of the cycle. It just believes that I think it's time for a cool down. And that means altcoins will probably bleed. And one chart we can take a look at to see if that is occurring in the markets is the Ethereum chart. So this is the one that tells me the real story. See, ETH Bitcoin is broken out from a long downtrend. If I zoom out, you can really see this. Let me go to the daily chart, right? And we talked about this again and again. It looked weak for years. In fact, we re entered into ETH way too early. We don't get them all right. Nobody gets them all right. But if you take a look here, ever since we hit an all-time high at 0.043, ETH looks like it's losing a little bit of steam in the short to mid-term. See, that right there, for the time being, is confirming my rotation thesis that people are taking profits from their Ethereum. A lot of that was rotating back into Bitcoin. But what that also means now is the time I'm personally starting to stack Ethereum drastically because I think a correction is coming, but I want to make sure that my bags are packed for this final push. The thing is, if we could fast forward a couple months and this correction has already happened, I believe ETH is going to be a rocket once the market warms back up in Q4. And I want to be ready and have my bags packed when that happens. Now, let's take a quick look at Solana. Solana's went all the way up to $215, a great time to pay down some of our loans in Camino Finance. But the thing is, Solana, it's been ripping again and it looks extremely bullish. But we're in that 215, 230 like area. If you look right here, you can see, here, let me draw a line on the chart. Right here, we have tapped into it. 1, 2, 3, didn't make it these 2 times, and then go over here for like at least, and I'm not even showing all of Solana's existence, but we're going to have to make it above here before we can even attempt at 230 and get back above the all-time high. 290, 285 to 290 being our first profit taking zone on Solana. You're not going to get a lot of channels out there that are going to give you their exact plays. But as a small channel, I am one of them. Now, getting back to Solana, Solana has been in a massive uptrend, and I think it's extremely risky right now to be going long on Solana. Not financial advice, of course, but I won't be. I would take a short over a long any day of the week after all of this has occurred. So if you didn't ride Solana up, but not FOMO into Solana now, again, not financial advice, but smart money, I think, is preparing to rotate or take profits. So the next best opportunity on SOL is going to be after this correction occurs, in my humble opinion. Now, finally, I wanted to take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, Bitcoin dominance has shown a ton of weakness over the last month or so. And even today, it's in the down trend. But if we have this correction, we could easily pop right back up close to 60%. Of course, we'd have to reclaim 58.7 and even 59.5 before even making it there, but possible. And what you would want to see is that after this correction occurs, we begin a solid downtrend. And what I want to see on this chart is this. When we got out of this ascending range, I want to see another drop like this down to this 30% level. But I'm going to be real with you all. I do not see us getting as low as we have the last cycle. Each cycle, the low point's getting higher and higher. So at this point, us being at 58, hold on, let me go to the weekly. I just don't think we're making it down here to 39% like last cycle. Maybe 51%, maybe 49%, even here, 43%. But I don't even see us getting that low. And that means that there's quite the possibility that altcoins aren't going to run like they did last cycle. And that made it easy on us. But understand, if dominance starts to ride, altcoins are bleeding. And if dominance keeps falling, altcoins are going to jump. So, to finalize everything we've talked about today, here's how I'm approaching this phase of the cycle. Look, I'm not going to be hype about it. These are just my real moves. So, right now, I don't believe the correction has happened all the way yet. So I'm hoping that ETH and altcoins have this little bitty pump right at the end, but I'm not going to chase it if it doesn't. Any Bitcoin breakout here, to me, is likely going to be exhaustion. Okay. Bitcoin can get back above the all time high. We're probably going to head lower. Also, I'm going to keep an eye on ETH Bitcoin weakness, because that means BTC is becoming the dominant asset again. And that means prices go down. Now, during this correction, I think BTC will hold much better structure and help to preserve capital if you're conservative, not financial advice. ETH and alts will probably take the real hit like they always do. But that is when I'm going to rotate more into ETH and my high conviction alts, which we've already been doing. But this will be our last rotation, or excuse me, last large rotation. Now, after the correction, I believe ETH is going to take the final euphoric lead above Bitcoin. Bitcoin, hopefully back above the all time high, 125 ish, making its way to 140, 150, which is where I'll be taking tons of profits. Now, obviously, we're going to have a moon bag here. Hopefully, can pump back above 5,000. Now, I don't think you're really going to see this altcoin season we all have been hoping for until Ethereum gets above $5,000. So, my exit plan, I'm not trying to sell the exact top. I'm going to sell into strength at every major resistance level, and we are at one. The bear market that follows, look, it's going to be especially painful for Ethereum. And also, unless you're running short strategies or short deep strategies, sticking to stables, you're going to get wrecked. So it's time to prepare now so you're not panicking later. So, guys, I know this setup here can feel confusing, and especially if you're newer to the space. Look, that is why I built Dad's DeFi Space, to make this all simple and strategic. If you want all of my full breakdowns on my trades, my plays, my vaults, my cycle alerts, my signals, even live rotations, join the free Telegram group and grab our free DeFi and crypto crash course at Dad's DeFi Space. Look, if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and ping the notification bell so you never miss content. Let me know in the comments, what's your ETH target this cycle? Because I'm going to make a video, an ETH price video, hopefully soon, and I want to put it out there. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.